Hi, Dad. How are you today?
Hey, Jordana. We're doing great. Today is a hot summer day. The sky is without a cloud. It is as beautiful as it ever is going to get. And we saw a very interesting Hallmark last night.
We did. It was back on the fantasy. We're in summer nights.
Yes.
Of Hallmark. Fantasy themed, I believe Summer Nights is.
Yes, and this was truly a fantasy. It was almost psychedelic, but it was interesting. And Hallmark is coming up with all kinds of stories written by wonderful authors, and they're presenting them to us. What did you think about last night?
So this one is from a novel that was written by Rachel Linden. She actually wrote this book during our pandemic not too long ago, back in 2020,
right.
I think
COVID,
it was.
And we all remember COVID.
Yeah, so this was based on a book called The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie. Yes. And so it became Hallmark's movie, The Magic of Lemon Drops. Yes. And it was not my favorite, Dad.
No, it wasn't one of those 5-tier Hallmarks. It almost wasn't even a rom-com that Hallmark is noted about. But the actor and actress were wonderful.
So you're 100% right. Yes. We had Lindsay Fonseca, I believe her last name is.
Lindsay Fonseca.
Fonseca.
Yes.
And Ian, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, Harding. And they both were phenomenal, I thought.
Well, they're noted for a long filmology. These were actors who've been, young actors who've been in the movies and on TV for 10, 12, 15 years. So we've seen them in wonderful, wonderful stories. And they were terrific last night.
Yeah, you may recall Lindsay, I think, was on like Desperate Housewives years ago, and she started off on soap operas. Ian, he played on Pretty Little Liars years ago. Yes. Ezra, who was the college professor who was involved with Lucy Hale on it, and he won Teen Choice Award. So these are accomplished.
I think he won Teen Choice Awards for 6 or 7 years in a row.
Yeah, pretty phenomenal.
So these are wonderful actors and actresses that Hallmark is showcasing for us. And as you say, the story is a little bit whimsical, a little bit psychedelic, and you have to think about the story when they're explaining it on Hallmark.
Yeah, there was a purpose to it, of course. I wish I kind of would have read the book before watching this one. Yeah. The book is supposed to be fantastic, and there is a theme to this, right? So this goes back still to Hallmark's, where there is always a purpose behind it. This one, there is a character named Aunt Gert in this, and I think it was also in the novel. And she goes to say in here, follow your bliss.
Yes, and remember, this is about a lemon drop theme and a lemon drop pie. I personally have never had a lemon drop pie, and it has a mystical meaning behind it.
Right. So if you take these lemon drops, which Aunt Gert provides, our Lolly is the character's name that Lindsay portrays.
Yes.
And these lemon drops, because she's kind of stuck in where she's going with her life. She has had some things that had happened in her life, and is kind of at a crossroads, and her life has not been what she dreamt it to be.
And she's 34 or 35 years old, and Gert said, take a lemon drop before you go to sleep.
For 3 nights.
For 3 nights. Sort of like taking LSD, and you'll have wonderful dreams. And the dreams will tell you about your life and what it can be.
And if you decide to take the 4th lemon drop, you can choose one of those lives.
Yes.
And so you can go back and change your life's path. And so when she took these different lemon drops and made a wish, where she wanted to see what her life would have been like if it would have chosen that path, because we all have regrets in life, or we dreamt our life to be one way, and maybe, and I don't know, Dad, with you, has your life been what you dreamt it to be when you were a young gentleman?
No, but in a way, my life came out as it is to be as a senior citizen, and I can't change the way it has been. But even now, I try to make my life so that it is better for whatever time we have.
And that's, I think, what the gist is of this, is that, because we see in the movie, you know, when you go back and you get to see and make this wish, and she goes back to each of these, there's a missing part in each of these that she finds out. So what she would have dreamt of, what she knows now, there's a little imperfection in what it could have been.
Yes, so what you're seeing as we're discussing this is that this is not a usual Hallmark rom-com.
Yeah.
Where boy meets girl, they fall in love, they have a setback, and then their love is consummated again. Although in Hallmark, we never consummate a love, but this is not the usual Hallmark.
Right. Although our lead gentleman, he is playing a divorce or separated, and he has a child, and so that kind of fit into the scheme of things.
Right.
So what, and Rory is his character's name, and you know, so she dreamt one night she wanted to go back and start this restaurant. She'd always wanted to be her own restaurateur, not just following in the family business. She wanted to see her mother. Her mother had died. We don't know how, but she was taking care of her father and her sister, and being, you know, primary care, giving up part of her life to take care of her family. And then the last one was love with this gentleman named Rory, who had just recently moved. Now,
what's interesting is the story is about a young woman who took over her family's restaurant, and that had been in the family for many generations. Yeah. And last night, we went to a wonderful Greek restaurant that was run by two young ladies who were in their 30s, who took the restaurant over when their father, the chef, passed away, and he had gotten his restaurant from his father. So it's sort of, life is what's in Hallmark.
I think that happens often, family businesses. And you wonder if they would have taken the lemon drop, would they want to have, had they wanted to start their own restaurant like she had in this? Did they put off their own life to kind of help with this?
But we see this, that life is the way it is, that you follow in your parents' footsteps, and Hallmark brought that to us, and we all know families who have inherited their parents' dreams, and they went on to try coming up with their own dreams, but also with the Hallmark theme that today is the first day of your life, and you live it now, and you go forward to make your life better and to make those around you happier and better also. Yes.
So what I loved, and I wanted to bring this up, is when Ann Gert gave her this and said, follow your bliss. And we all thinking, what is bliss? This is not something we all did, but she followed up with another statement. And I think this is really the purpose of this movie. She said, follow your bliss. And I wrote this down, Dad. Be honest, pay attention, and seek joy. And that's the thing I think we need to come out of this movie with.
Always,
if we all bring that into our daily lives, no matter what hardship we get, if life brings you lemon, make lemonade, make whatever you want to make out of it. But be honest, pay attention, seek joy in all of the things that are going on in this world today.
That's right.
If you live by that, what Hallmark brought me last night was that, I think.
Watch out for your neighbors, help those in need, and always do what is right for yourself and for others. What was interesting was that this film was supposed to have taken place in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and the young man was the team physician for the Minnesota Twins, and they had a beloved pet who they named after one of the Twins' finest baseball players, Kirby Puckett. And people have always named their loved animals after baseball players, after movie stars, and it was wonderful. But it was filmed in Winnipeg, Canada. So much for Hallmark. Right? Close. Tell me what's on for next week.
So next week is the last of our Summer Nights series. It's going to be called Head Over Heels. This is about a shoe designer and internships and all that thing. So it should be interesting, at least a little bit of fashion and flair. So we'll see what that is. And then we head into Falling into Love. Fall into Love with Hallmark. With His and Hers, which is divorced attorneys that are married and take separate counsel on a case. And that has Lacey Chabert in it. So that should be great.
God,
we love Lacey.
Yeah. So Hallmark is finishing up with summer.
Yeah.
He's going to introduce fall, football, the onset of basketball, autumn activity, and beautiful color change. So until then, we wish all our viewers have a wonderful week. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. And enjoy the beginning of your life as it goes forward.
Yes, and be honest, pay attention, and seek joy.
Be well, everybody.
Bye-bye.